Are you looking for a really quick and easy Easter project or springtime project? Well, I've got you covered. Let's decorate our tea towels. So grab some tea towels and let's decorate them with these cute little bunnies and some rickrack. To make our bunny kitchen towel, you'll need one piece of fabric at approximately 6 inches by 10 inches, a tea towel to decorate, some rickrack. I'm using 2 different colors, but use whatever you'd like. Double-sided iron-on adhesive, and I'm using Heat and Bond Light. And you'll need the bunny template. So for the bunny template, you can get a free copy of this over on my website. I'll put a link in the description below for you. It does have a tail, which is optional. I'm not going to use that today. I've printed it out on card because I plan to make a few and it just makes it a little bit more durable. So once you've printed it out, let's carefully cut around the shape. So I've just got my heat and bond here with the paper side facing up. Then I'm just going to take my template, place it on top and draw around my template. Now I'm just going to roughly cut out the bunny. We don't want to cut it out perfectly. We do that once we've ironed it onto our fabric. Just cut some of this excess off so that I know it's going to fit within my fabric. Now let's press. So now I've got my fabric with the wrong side facing up, with the right side facing down, and then I'm going to take my iron on, and the side that's rough has the glue on it. We want that facing down, and then just make sure you're happy with how it's going to sit on the fabric. I can just vaguely see my print through the fabric there, and I can see that center flower there. You can't see this, sorry, but that's going to look nice and centered. So make sure you're happy with where it's sitting if you've got a pattern, and then we're going to press, which melts the glue and adheres it. And then I'll just turn it over and press it on the other side. Then what we're going to do is cut it out perfectly around our drawn line. So now we've cut that out, let's just get our tea towel and our rickrack and see how we're going to place it all. So I've got my tea towel, or sorry, you might call it a kitchen towel, and I've given it a good press so it's sitting nice and flat. Then I'm just going to take my bunny and place it on top and then work out where I want my rickrack. So I'm going to do 2 rows, one in this creamy white and then one in the pink. So I'm just going to place it along the bottom here, and I want it to come over past the edge by about 1 inch on either side. And then I'll cut it. And then I'll do the same for the pink. You could use whatever colors you like. Oh, that one's got a bit of tape on the end. You might want to use a thick one and a little one. I didn't have much choice at Joann's. They were pretty much sold out of all the rickrack. So this is what I ended up with, and then I'm just going to work out where I want it to sit. So I'm going to do 1 row at a time. I'm going to do this bottom row first and just see, do I want the pink down the bottom or the cream? I'm not sure. I don't think it really matters. So I'll start off with this cream one, and then what I'm going to do is I'll just set this one aside now. I'm just going to take my pins and then I'm going to pin it in place. Now there is a good side and a bad side. Sometimes it's hard to tell, so then just use whatever side you think looks best. And then we've got 2 options on the side here. We could either tuck it in and under and just sew across the top, or we can fold it over the edge of the tea towel and then sew it along underneath here, which is what I'm going to do. I don't know, I think technically it probably is a little bit tidier to fold it in and sew it down, but I think I don't know, I just like it coming over the edge and under. So I'm just going to fold that over and then pop a pin in there, and I'm going to make sure my pin's going through all the layers so that when I sew it, it will be sewing it down on the back too. See how I can see my pin is there? So that looks perfect. And then I will just pop in a few more pins. This is just to keep it in place when I'm sewing. And And then I'm going to do exactly the same on this edge. I'm just going to fold it over, and remember, you can do the edges however you'd like to, whatever you think looks best. And I'm making sure it's quite firmly folded over, like I'm not folding it over loosely so that there's a whole lot extra here. I'm folding it really nice and tight so it's really snug along this edge here. And then when I'm happy, I'm going to pop a pin in, making sure it's going through all the layers so that I'm catching it when I sew. So let's take a look at that. There we go, that looks good. I can see it's sort of turning up a little bit, so I'm just going to push it down, like I said, so when I'm sewing it on the other side, I'm going to be catching it and making it secure. So that looks pretty good to me. All I'm going to do now is sew right down the center, and I will do a back stitch at the beginning and the end. I'll just set the bunny aside. So just starting on the very edge there, I'm stitching at stitch length 2.5, and I'm using wonderful confetti thread. I'm just coming forward and then doing a back stitch. And now I'm just going to stitch down the center of the rickrack, removing the pins as I need to, popping them straight on my pin caddy. And then coming right up to the very edge and doing a back stitch. And cutting my thread. And now what I'm going to do is exactly the same with my second layer of rickrack. Work out where I want it, pin it and sew it. So when you've finished sewing your 2 layers of rickrack on, just trim your thread, and now let's sew our bunny on. So it's already looking so cute, and you know what, you could even just leave it like this if you were just trying to zhuzh up your kitchen towels. But let's carry on with our bunny. So what I'm going to do is just peel off the backing, which reveals the layer of glue or adhesive. And then I'm just going to pop my bunny on top, and we need to find the center. So you could either measure that, or we can just take our tea towel and fold it in half and just give it a finger press along the center here. You can see that my stripes aren't quite straight. There we go. And now I can just see where my center is, and so I'll just pop my bunny on top. And the middle of the ears is the center. So just work out where you're happy with it. I'm going to bring it down a little bit because when I hang it, I don't want it to be all ruffled. To be honest, this will just be decorative. I won't be using the tea towel. It's just going to look really cute in my kitchen hanging. They're matching my wall hanging. So once we're happy, we'll just iron it, which will adhere the glue to our kitchen towel or tea towel, whatever you like to call it. Is it a kitchen towel? I know there's another name for it too. A dish towel. So let me know in the comments what you call it. I call this a tea towel. So I'm just giving that a good press so that it doesn't come off when I'm doing the last stitch around the edge. Okay, my rickrack got a little bit pushed out of shape, so I'll give that a press too. You know, we can never press too much. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my time and stitch around the entire edge with a blanket stitch on my sewing machine. So I'm using a Juki DX7, which Juki Junkies have kindly loaned me to have a play with. And this machine is perfect for this project because I'm going to be doing a blanket stitch, which is decorative. It stitches down, across, back across, and then down, which is really nice for applique. But you can use any stitch you'd like, and if you've got a Juki TL sewing machine which only stitches a straight stitch, I would just stitch about 1/8 of an inch away from the edge around the entire edge, and that also will look lovely. But for today, like I said, I am just playing with this Juki DX7 doing a blanket stitch, and the secret is to go nice and slow and take your time, especially going around corners. So like I said, this sewing machine was kindly loaned to me by Juki Junkies, and if you are in the market for a new sewing machine, particularly a Juki, then check them out. I'll put the link down in my description for you. So there we have our little kitchen towel, tea towel, dish towel, whatever we want to call it. But isn't that super cute for spring or Easter? Now all I'm going to do is go around and trim my loose threads. And let's take a look at the back. You know, a lot of you leave comments saying you never showed us the back. So this is what the back looks like. I've got a bit of a bird's nest there. I'll just trim it. I've already trimmed the threads there. But you can see that with my stitches, I have just caught the back of the rick-rack there. So anyway, that's our little towel. We'll call it a towel. How about that? We're all happy with that name. Isn't it cute? So I hope you enjoyed this quick and easy tutorial. I think they're fantastic to make to decorate your own home, and they'd make lovely gifts to give to people that you're visiting this Easter. And if you've got other ideas on how to decorate tea towels, like perhaps a different theme, let me know in the comments, because I'm always looking for new ideas on tutorials to make. And if you're looking for another bunny project, you might like to check out my bunny table runner. I'll put the link above. Thanks so much, and I'll see you in the next video.